Welcome back again today, friends. Happy gardening day. It is the weekend and I am taking all day today to do the projects that I want to do in my super mega mama garden. Oh yes, I am. We are working today more on our lasagna garden. That is in the work. We had our 2 additional loads of organic compost dumped yesterday. Travis is going to be working on a lot of that with his little scoop, dumping it down and just flattening out the hills and valleys more there. First thing I'm going to work on is go around and do a little more cleaning up in these garden beds. Again, the leaves that are left in these beds do not bother me. They will compost in place and it's not a heavy layer like it was in fall, but there's a scattering of leaves and I am okay with that. I'm going to work on getting seeds in the ground because this time of year in Virginia, well, it can be a little sketchy mid-May. Sometimes it's best to wait, you know, to end of May or even June, I have heard some gardeners say, and then I know people with their whole gardens planted. So I'm going to go ahead and go for it. We did have 2 frost the first week of May, but when I'm looking at our weather for even the next 4 weeks, it's 70s and 80s, and at night it's 40s and 50s. So, hello rooster. I think we're good. I'm going to risk it. Maybe 2 weeks ago, I got in the dinosaur kale and broccoli, more onions. We have strawberries going. Of course, lots of beautiful flowers in the works here for the pollinators. I'm thinking, what else do I have? Well, we have our garlic and our onions from last fall. And I also have 2 flats of tomatoes and a flat of peppers to get going. I'm planning to get those going in our lasagna garden area. Let's just get to work and see what happens. And right now with my seeds, my real sophisticated seed storing system, which I realize these are in the blaring sun, so I need to move them. I've just organized them like, you know, freezer meals. Organized things in gallon freezer bags. And so I have this bag that's all full of lettuce. Now there is a free bok choy that came from Baker Creek, but for the most part, these are lettuce. This is all corn. This is radishes and carrots, zucchini and squash, a variety of herbs, which I'm excited. My chives from last year and my sage are coming back, so in my brain I'm seeing how that works. Pumpkins and melons, cucumbers, beans and peas, and then this will have dry beans in there. A big old bag of flowers. Now this is a bag of cold weather crops, so cabbage, kale, turnip, onions, basils, collards. So we're gonna do those again when that time comes around. I do have a variety of these that were already started from seed and have made it out here for this year. So good thing, seeds hold for a bit as long as you don't have them in the sunshine like this. And then I have a bag of what's left from my failures, but for the tomatoes, peppers, and even eggplant, I noticed it was at least saying it was best to start it indoors first. So these will just have to wait until next winter when we get those going in March next year, friends. This is my note to myself. I need to get those going in March to give myself plenty of time, and that way by mid-May my indoor things are ready to go. Yay. So we're gonna get going with all these things. Okay, so I want to show you what I've been working on over here, and it gets overwhelming to pick what to plan where. And so what I'm gonna do, the first thing, what feels funnest to me right now? So I'm gonna focus on getting more flowers planted. Nothing that we're gonna eat. Definitely great for the pollinators and look beautiful. I have grown a lot of sunflowers over the years, and also, where did they go? Oh, I think they're under the hollyhocks. Bachelor buttons. Some of these I have not grown, like the poppies and the bee balm. I have grown nasturtiums many times. We used to grow those growing up also around the barns and the horse manure and all those good things. So I'm gonna get a bunch of nasturtiums going, and I'm just gonna plant these wherever the feelings strike. So let's get going. So this is what we're gonna get started with. We've probably got about 10 packs or so. Well, that was fun. I just spilt my pack on the ground. Okay, found most of them. We're gonna make it. And so now I am digging along the edge of this bed here, and that is where I'm going to direct sow a bunch of nasturtiums. We'll also continue to get more marigolds in and around. Those are always so beautiful in all the gardens. So how am I finding time to get gardening in this year? Well, I just tell you, it really is the right season for it in more ways than one, and I'll share more with you about that in a minute. He has started with the compost dump for me. And I have kiddos doing different things at this time, but I do have one in the garden now going around and laying more of our mulch in the path. And so it is Mother's Day. Yay, happy Mother's Day. A few weeks passed, haha, but it is Mother's Day when I am taking this full dedicated gardening day. So I was going to share with you how Super Mega Mama here is getting gardening time in. Well, there's definitely gardening times where the whole family is out here with me and we're all working on projects. And of course, I don't film all of those. Believe it or not, I don't film all day, every day. I just have little segments that I film at different times throughout the week. And you know, when I'm in my big cooking and massive food preservation filming times, I film pretty much dedicated all day Friday and Saturday, or one or the other, just depending on what family activities we have that week. But these other little snippets I just get here and there as I am able. So I am filming most of this day, and I do have different family members that help at different times. Mainly my 12-year-old and Travis on this afternoon are helping me a whole bunch, and this is what I wanted to do on Mother's Day. I wanted to get so many of my flower seeds direct sown in the ground and make all my hopes and dreams come true. But as far as my daily schedule goes, now that we are into May, you know, a lot of our public schools in the area are getting out. So we like to travel in off seasons and all of that. So we continue homeschooling gentle year round. And so I can just see in future gardening how the routines will look. And so right now, officially implementing our summertime fun time year-round homeschool schedule, we are doing our homeschooling on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and we're going from about 9 to 1:30 or so. Now I do have 3 teens who do have additional work and assignments that they continue on with for the afternoons, but my younger kiddos and I are done pretty much by 1 on those 3 days. And then Thursdays will be our dedicated lake day, where we are traveling to, we have several local lakes in our area within an hour radius. And then Fridays and Saturdays I have earmarked for my mama work days, and of course Sunday is church. But even on this day, on Mother's Day, when I am here working, you know, it's Sunday afternoon, and so we can still go to church in the morning, and I can still enjoy after lunch and all of that, enjoy several hours in the gardens on Sunday afternoons as well. So back to my Super Mega Mama gardening schedule. I have been gardening on Monday afternoons, Tuesday afternoons, Wednesday afternoons, and right now, because the lakes haven't officially opened, I'm getting a bunch of gardening in on Thursdays and then also Sunday afternoons. So I'm really able to put a lot of time into it right now while we get it going. And of course, it's taking more work now. Yeah, I feel like, you know, the whole month of May, I've been working on these beds and getting things planted and getting things where they need to be. And I know it's taking a lot of work, and I'm going to be working into June on getting everything in. And I've learned a lot already. You know, I have had gardens before, but I feel like I have unlocked another level now, just based on the information that I've been gathering and absorbing over the last 4 years or so. This is our 4th season in this house. Can you believe it? So it was 3 official years in February 2023, because we moved in here February 2020. Who knew what was about to happen? I did a garden that summer, but we had never lived here before. I wasn't sure about the shade and the trees. And you all know, you can tell the story, summer 2020 and summer 2021, pregnancy, major health stuff, E. coli, hospitalizations, surgery, just had a lot. Last year, we got these 18 8x4 raised beds in and had a decent first go of that. And now this year, I feel like all my research and hopes and dreams, and I use the word research lightly, but professional YouTube watching and learning and reading and listening and chatting with friends and watching and making my dream organic garden to-do list. I feel like this year all the things have really come together. So back to getting this gardening time in, I can just see the future rhythms on how by May, of course, I now know February and March I need to be starting my seeds inside, right? And by May, when our long indoor winter homeschool schedule is coming to an end and we are getting more time outside, really that starts to lighten up early April here. But by May, we are ready to just go to a couple half days a week for the summer. But again, we might end up taking the whole month of October off and traveling. There's lots of options and flexibility we like to have built in. And I don't feel like we're doing remedial work. We are continuing to move forward. So yay, homeschooling. Anyway, year 18th, you can tell I'm convinced it's what's best for my family. Anywho, back to the gardening schedule, I can just see that by the time that the kids are, busting to go outside and working on their outside projects and fun, and I can see and hear and quickly access everybody on our property. But by the time they are outside doing their fun adventures, I can really get outside and work in this gardening. And by the time we get to mid-June, where I might have most of my things in, it's going to be time to be reseeding different things. And of course, we'll start to harvest some things, I believe. I'm hopeful. I have learned, again, in my organic beginner gardening learning vault, I have learned that squash and zucchini can be reseeded and succession planted. And so I just didn't know that before. I have grown them several times, especially over, how many years ago now are we, if we talk about farmhouse days? 15 years ago, back at my farmhouse. But another thing that's new to me this year is the whole concept of, Jamerrill, I have to spend time in my garden every day. So really, because gardening is spread out over my 25 years of marriage and my 23 years of pregnancy and having 9 children, I'm probably in, we'll say, the equivalent of my 4th year of vegetable gardening, meaning I did several years of getting the vegetables in the tilled ground at the farmhouse. I had a lot of little children then, so we went out every day to pick things and water, but I just didn't spend a lot of time thinking or planning about my gardening. It was more a fun educational experience for my family. And I wanted to get into more food preservation. I did my beginning canning all those years back at the farmhouse. I wanted to get into more. But as my story goes, my additional hobby of blogging turned into a super mega mama full-time business for me 12 years ago. And so if I've been focusing on anything for over the past decade, it has been continuing to homeschool my children and running and growing my online business, which I know not everyone is into hearing about, and that's cool, that's fine. But as far as watching and me sharing my journey, that's where so much of my time has gone. So, circling back, this garden this year really feels like it's so many of my hopes and dreams gardening-wise coming together, and I am so thankful that these raised beds did pretty okay last year, and it seems like this year things are going to go well. I know we're going to have failures. I have certainly had failures already. Another thing I heard recently is that peppers and tomatoes, I believe it was Becky mentioned, peppers and tomato plants don't like to go outside. It can stunt their growth and cause other problems if it's, I believe, below 50 degrees at night. And here I am now, almost end of May, recording this voiceover for you, and like the next 3 nights are going to be 42 degrees. So I am making mistakes and learning things as this continues, but I am enjoying spending 2 to 4 hours most afternoons in this garden. Now I definitely, all the things you don't see on camera, there is a very nice dusty dirty area on the other side of this garden, and my 3 youngest boys, my 2-year-old, my 5-year-old, my 8-year-old, they have trucks there and they play for hours. They just absolutely love it, and Travis can see them, and we have other folks who can see them, and so they're pretty much really close to me as far as me being with them and such. And then there'll be times where, let's just say the 5-year-old comes over and he decides he wants to plant seeds, and so the camera is turned off, or it's a day I'm not filming, and I am helping him dig a hole and he is getting his seeds in. Just yesterday he planted a whole garden tower with me of marigolds and petunias. That was a lot of fun for him. And then I'll have my 8-year-old come over and he'll decide he wants to help me water the garden. So I am at this point, we did purchase an irrigation system on Amazon. I don't know if it's a good one or not. It's in boxes downstairs, and so now I'm going to say it's my goal to have that hooked up by this fall. We shall see. But right now, inspired by my friend Jessica over on 3 Rivers Homestead, I'm just using a garden sprinkler, and we're turning that on. But my 8-year-old will take that sprinkler and water the individual beds as well. He has a lot of fun doing the watering and moving the sprinkler around, and so that is very helpful as well. And hey friend, I've got something a little new and different I would like for you to do for me. It's some help that I need. I would like for you to click the first link in the description below and take my special survey. I've been asking for feedback from all of my friends who watch my YouTube videos and follow me on Instagram and anywhere around the internet to take my survey. What my survey is it's helping me hear directly from you on exactly what you need from me. What are the courses and the products that you would like me to create to best help serve you? So if you would please click the link in the description and take that survey for me. It'll just be a couple minutes of your time, and you'll also get a special coupon code to use for upcoming products and courses by completing that survey. Thanks again. Also, some gardening with Jamerrill adventures. I'm going to work on this banana peanut butter chip ice cream while I garden, and I'm excited about it. This is a mama's garden and lunch in the heat. I know it's good. And so yeah, that Rebel ice cream, I can count that as a meal, but man, those are good. I don't know where I've been or if they've improved those, or if it's just been so long since I've had actual sugar that those even taste wonderful to me now. I had some the other day at a graduation party and I just chopped up a bunch of strawberries with it. And on this day, my 5-year-old and my 8-year-old conveniently came to the garden while I was eating that. So I ended up eating about half of it and I shared the other half. So when I make my plates or when I have something to eat, I always know that I will have little folks who like to share show up. Okay, so much has been planted. Bee balm, butterfly milkweed, bachelor buttons, sunflowers, many things. I'm gonna go in for a little mama break though, and then we will get back at it. But here's how the lasagna garden is looking. Travis used both loads of compost on it. So this is, and he's gotten it all, you know, about as flat as we're gonna get it. And so all the planting needs to be done in here, which is exciting. Okay, evening hostas check, weed check. That's okay. This bed, all it needs is some freshening up and some cardboard and some mulch. But the things that need to grow in here, mainly the hostas, are doing their job. Things are happening in here. Nice little boxwood. Poison ivy. Hate that. More poison ivy. Are you here today to see my poison ivy? There it is. Ow. What is this? Huh. That is very big. I love the picture of this app. Let's see what this is. Okay. Whoop. Sorry, not trying to drop my camera. Also not trying to sell this app, but I do use this app. It was $29 a year. Okay. Burdock, wild rhubarb. Okay, so grows a flower, thistle. I don't think this is anything I want. I didn't plant this. Oh, okay. I know what this is now. Alrighty. I've had so many surprise pop-up volunteers in the garden over here. I thought, what is this? Do I have a pumpkin beside the house already? So no, that's not. But I did find where we have, these roosters just go not quite 24/7, but almost. Reminds me of one time we were camping at our friend Jason and Shannon. They have that Seeds for Generations heirloom seed company, and we were camping in their field, but their roosters, like 2, 3 in the morning right by the tent. But I just want to show you the volunteers coming up in this garden. Get your thoughts on those. Okay, so over here, I want to also catch you up on all we got planted. The sun was really beating down on me. So anyway, up here, where did you go? Okay, and I used my little picture this app because so many of these things look the same, but it said that these were cucumbers coming up. So, okay, cool. And then, where did I have my others? Over here, it said that these were field pumpkin and that these were field pumpkin. Now, last year, again, this is my little pumpkin patch area, and it's gonna go down to the other side of these containers. It's like, stick with me, kid, we're working on it. Anyway, I'm guessing a bird, you think? Because I didn't plant pumpkins in these raised beds, but there were pumpkins close to here. And look, there's some more there. So I guess we're growing pumpkins in this raised bed. I know that, you know, they need a lot of room. So between them and the onions, that's probably all we can do here. And then over here, now I did grow lettuce in this bed last summer. I have not replanted it, but I have lettuce growing. Look at this. Now, I've only planted lettuce from seed one time, and I've gotten lettuce one time, but I have lettuce growing again. Is this a thing? Is this what lettuce does? Lettuce there, lettuce in there. Although that looks like it accidentally got dug up a little bit. I'm gonna put that back down. Why do I have lettuce? Does it reseed itself and come back? Is this a thing? I don't know. And I think I might actually have some way over there, which is odd. So I just thought these were fun, interesting things, exciting things happening. So because I have some cucumbers already starting with those strawberries, I will have to Google. I will Google my way through this garden. My Googling and you in the comments will help me. And then text messaging Becky questions, right? But maybe the rest of my cucumbers will go in here. And look at that. We have ants moving their ant eggs, probably because I was disturbing them earlier. But other really happy things that I saw everywhere I have dug in these raised beds, there has been a lot of earthworms. So I know that that is great. And there's been some ladybugs, which I've also heard are really good. So all of these beds have now, well, so many of them have nasturtiums planted around, have even more marigold seeds. In these, let's see if I can point right. Those 3 have dahlias. These smaller ones over here, we just did all pollinators. So it's bachelor buttons and sunflowers and wildflower mixes and so many varieties. There's dahlias, more Daniel's dahlias in there, and we did some along the edges of those. And then up here, we did more sunflowers and varieties in my poor little dented beds. But hey, it's still there and hopefully does the job. So we will go from there. And then over here, I did the last thing I did before I went in for our little break is I did a mix. And the reason I'm doing tall growing flowers along this side is because the sun all day, it's rising, it's up overhead here, and then it sets as it is right there. And so if I have like 6-foot tall sunflowers or hollyhocks, those taller flowering varieties going along this side, these tall flowers are not going to shade out everything that's in here. If I had them on that side, they might shade some. So I thought that was fun. Also, tomorrow, so Travis got all the compost on here today. He picked up the cattle panels yesterday. I think we got 8 of them. They were $38 a panel. I'm totally going off of our friend Jess from Roots and Refuge. She has a video from a couple years ago where she shows how to make a garden trellis just as cheap as possible. And I think then, this was before COVID, which, you know, just changed the whole world. I think back then they were like 18 or 20 something a cattle panel. So I was just telling you, in my area at our local co-op where we're able to get our animal food like half price compared to Tractor Supply, they were $38 each. So we have a bunch of those, and I'm going to do them, and I'm going to have Travis do them down the whole middle of the garden. See how that goes. So here is all the sunflowers and hollyhocks and bee balm and all kinds of good things. And so now the rest of the way here and just all the way up, I'm going to do more sunflowers, and I'll show you some other things I'm doing. Now, again, eventually, this strip here, all the way down here, where these stumps are, all the way in line with where the mulch ends from the raised beds there, this will all be garden also, but Travis is going to continue to work on this stump situation before we include this area. So we might end up getting this covered this year. I just don't know, but I know we do have a lot to work with here, so that's exciting. So these are the different sunflower varieties I've been planting, just from what I got from MI Gardener. We got this mixed sunflowers. These are supposed to get 3 to 6 foot tall. Now, I've had some sunflowers though that are like, you know, 6 or 7 feet tall, and some that get a foot tall. No matter what the package said. This is called Autumn Beauty, and these get 4 to 6 feet tall. I've mixed in these chocolate cherry sunflowers. They get 6 to 7 feet tall, so they're pretty serious. I also have these poppies, and these were saying late fall or early spring. I'm just going to go ahead because I have them and sprinkle some around, and we'll just see what happens. Now, this pampas grass variety here, this is a thing. It is beautiful. This is telling me, now it says start indoors. It doesn't say about direct seeding, but I want to give it a shot. I'm looking at the height. I know that these get, each plant will grow 32 to 48 inches. Maybe I don't want to plant I was thinking about planting them along the edges in here. And now I'm wondering if I want to save them just to mix in some of these outer areas. Not sure. Okay, I think I'm feeling like I'm not going to focus on them, but I do want to get more sunflowers going down our edge here. And then I'm thinking that the arch we're going to do, hello kitty, we're going to do down the middle going that way, and then I'll be planting either long rows like this. I'm not sure which way my rows are going to go. I'll see how I feel later. And I feel like this view, friends, really shows how big the lasagna garden is. I got a comment this morning on YouTube, and I was like, oh, I just didn't think of that. But it was so helpful just to get people's thoughts, and so that's where I learned so much from these comments. So this commenter was super helpful, and she was telling me how they do the major lasagna area in the rows where they're doing their planting, and obviously the rows in between, they don't worry so much about the layering. And I thought, that's so smart. Now, I had thought whatever ends up being like my walking rows in between the plants, I can do wood chips there. But again, I have to get out there and experience this year. My gardens at the farmhouse were always the tilled in the ground type, and I planted the plants with my small children from the local Mennonite greenhouse. And I did put aged horse manure on those gardens, and those gardens were also in old fertile farm soil on property that had been farmed for, I mean, probably hundreds of years. You know, it was the original farmhouse, and we only had 2 acres, but all the other farmland around it that modern day is different homes and different 5 to 10 acre properties probably went with that old farmhouse originally. So anyway, my gardens were super blessed there on that little farmhouse farm. So this year, I feel like we are going to have deep lessons in this lasagna garden, and I'm excited for it. So this is from Seeds for Generation. It's holy basil. I just planted it along the edge of this bed, so we'll see what happens. And then I have a variety of, I just picked out, I'm not planting all of my packs because I want to reseed as time goes on here, but I have some different lettuces and then a lot of different carrots and carrot varieties. And then my favorite, because I like to cook them like potatoes, radishes. We got German Giant, we got some white icicle and French breakfast. I'm going to plant those as well. And I'm going to work on planting those within these different onion beds that we have going on. I'm going to start with the lettuce up there where we already have that volunteer lettuce from last year going. Looks like a good enough bed to grow lettuce in to get started. And then we'll just come and see as far as we can get. It's after 8 p.m. right now. I told myself I was going to be done by 8, but it's just so nice and cool now. It's the perfect time to work through some of this. Oh, and I also just had a family member take more cardboard that has popped up around here and just lay it on this growth in the pumpkin patch area. And so I feel like if I let that stay there for a week, then we can move it around to some other things. And so right now I am getting more lettuce and carrots in my raised bed up yonder there. And it's so funny, when I got working in this garden this spring, and I did share some pictures over in my Instagram stories, and if you want to see these, I think I have a highlight called 23 Homestead maybe. Anyway, I found some precious little carrots this year. I didn't have any success with carrots last year. I think last year might have been the first year I ever planted carrots, but I found these precious little like 1 to 2 inch carrots from over the winter in my garden beds. Now maybe this year, after we have our successful summer gardening, then by the fall we can do more preparing for over the winter gardening. It could happen. I read a book on it last year, so you know. But anyway, the only way I know to really learn things and expand is to jump in and do it and make things happen, right? And you know, friends, other things I didn't even realize. Even last year, I bought Miracle-Gro. Now, I didn't use it, but I bought it. And I didn't know that much about chemicals in the garden, even though, yes, I've always known that aged horse manure is fantastic for gardens because I grew up with horses. My mom always used aged horse manure on flower beds and such. Even at our first house 25 years ago, I was hauling aged horse manure in trash bags in my minivan from the Shenandoah Valley, from where my mom had her horses, all the way down to the Hampton Roads area where we had our first house, to put on my city neighborhood gardens. So I've known that there's a benefit. I never thought about what true organic gardening is. And you know, like how I like to joke, I've watched the Back to Eden Garden documentary twice now, so I know a speck. I'm Back to Eden Garden documentary watching certified now. And so I'm just thankful last year I did not use Miracle-Gro on my gardens. I have not used it on this property. And I am trying to do true organic gardening. Now, I may fail. I may end up doing something or using something. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to do things wrong, but we're going to continue to learn things. Even recently, I took my rabbits out of the rabbit tractor and I put them back in rabbit hutches so that I can use their fresh bedding every week and their droppings and all of their extra little bonuses there, and put that directly on my gardens where I need it, or at least get it in the compost pile. And then of course we have our wheelbarrow full of our horse manure every week that we're getting into a compost area as well. So we're learning, we're growing, we're doing things. Every year is going to be another layer of learning. You see, I have a little gardening kitty with me. That is my 5-year-old's kitty. His name is Link, and he's a little boy kitty. I like to say that he's a 5-year-old kitty at heart. 5-year-old in comparison to a human 5-year-old. He gets into things, and he's a lot of fun. he explores himself. So anyway, you will see him pop up in the garden and helping me. I did see where Homesteading Family has a video somewhere. It came up for me on YouTube. I haven't watched it yet. Someone watch it for me. Give me the cliff notes, okay? They have a video about how to keep cats out of the garden, and maybe I need to figure that out. I don't know. Or maybe I just need to have, look, did you see him run and jump? I need to have enough in the garden to share with the cats. So far I have found 2 onions pulled up and 2, because this is future Jamerrill, 2 tomato plants. Besides that, I don't think they're doing any damage, but they do get into all the beds and just have a fantastic time, especially when I'm out there working. They think I am there to work with them. Now, our older cats don't care so much, but this younger cat, he is just like, Mom is here and it is time to play. So right now I am doing rows and I am scattering radish seeds along them. I do want to get those pelleted radish seeds, carrot seeds, lettuce seeds, even cabbage seeds, because they're so small. And again, yes, I've learned about that from my friend Becky. And I believe she said she orders hers from Johnny Seeds. So I want to put an order in so I can really, I try to just, sprinkle lightly, but I really want to control more what and how I'm planting. Oh, we have a whole kitty party showing up now. They have been finding so many moles and little critters outside. They're good farm kitties. Anyway, I'm going through and doing rows of mainly radishes and carrots in these other beds, and you can see our little outdoor lights have turned on, so the evening is progressing. But Mama really hits her stride during these gardening times here. I feel like it's the final push before getting cleaned up for the day, so I'm just trying to make the most of my time and make the most of my dirt before I have to go inside and get cleaned up. And so I wanted to tell you, friends, that this channel is not becoming a 100% gardening channel, but by the videos coming out currently and over the next week or so, it's a lot of gardening content. I do plan to, in June, we will resume our regular posting schedule where you are getting a massive food preservation video from me most weeks. You're also getting a super mega freezer cooking video from me most weeks. And then the third video is going to be a homestead / organic gardening adventure. But I know that everybody's absolute favorite content over here is all my super mega big batch cooking. In recent weeks, filming wise and just me managing my life wise, my Fridays and my Saturdays have gone to me working on continuing to build out my Successful Business Mama course, where I'm going to help busy moms build their dream online businesses while also raising their families, since that is what I have done for the past 12 years. I know that. I may not know organic gardening, but I do know a lot about building a successful online business while also raising your family. So that is where my Friday and Saturday work time have gone, instead of doing my regular super mega big batch cooking on Fridays and Saturdays. And during the weeks, as I have already shared, all of my afternoon and evening hours for the most part have been out here working in this garden and working on different homestead projects with the family. So you are definitely getting a slew of gardening videos from me right now. But again, starting in another week or two, pretty much starting in June, you will start to get all the big batch cooking videos again. I'm not stopping the garden videos because that is what I am spending a lot of my time on, and you will continue to get garden and homestead videos as well. But just wanted to send up a flare and say, don't worry, all the big super mega mama big batch food is coming back too. Oops, so there's the kitty in and out again. But in this onion bed, we were able to get all kinds of lettuce planted, and the kitty marks the spot where he is now, pouncing on another kitty. There's more lettuce planted. And then this whole bed we did, well, I didn't do this whole section here, but I did the end down here, and then all through here we've been doing the cosmic carrots. And the plan is, it's getting darker now and I don't know how much more you all will see. I'm going to continue with carrots in these beds, although that one has pumpkins in it, so probably here and there. And then I'm going to come back and also somewhere within that I want to do radishes too. Not quite sure, but my brains will tell me when we get there. Okay, I'm in the garden. You cannot see me. Way late update. I think you can see this though. Besides my ice cream trash, we did this whole postal size box. Let's see what that shows. Yeah, this whole postal size box. This is all the packages from all the seeds today. So even though I am faceless Jamerrill, I did not do radishes, so I just put those up. And I'll show you with our little lightning bug lights here, the beds that I finished. But we did finish more carrots, tons of flowers. I feel like, yeah, carrots, lettuce, basil, those are the only like food things besides the nasturtiums. The rest of this box is so many flowers, so many sunflowers, so many bachelor buttons, so many great pollinators, and this was a fun day, a fun day for me. Tomorrow we're gonna do even more. So then I did get this second bed here full of mixed carrots, so they're gonna be white and purple, and let's see, some yellow ones, and then the rest of the bed is orange, and then the cosmic carrots were here, and then this was all lettuce, some more lettuce there, and Mama's gonna call it a night. Thank you, friends, for spending this wonderful day out in the garden. 2023, we are doing so many fantastic, I'm proud of us, garden things in this 2023 season. I have high hopes. I think it's all going to work out. I think it's all going to be great. Thank you for joining me for this adventure. We'll see how things really go, because you know things didn't work out so well with those tomatoes I tried to start for seed. But in my next video coming up with the garden, we will be getting the big arch done and actual organic tomatoes and peppers in the ground. And right now, me and one of my happy kiddos you hear in the background, we are going to get some late evening watering done before we head into the house for the day. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll chat with you in those comments below. Bye-bye. And also, if you could give me a few minutes of your time and click the first link in the description below and go take my survey on exactly what you need from me, product-wise, course-wise, what can I do for you, what can I help you with. This survey is helpful for me in my future planning on how I can best serve you. So if you could take a few minutes of your time and do that for me, that would be so fantastic. Thanks again. Bye-bye.